So here's a quick recap in case you didn't see the earlier video when I stripped this 1987 Yamaha TZR125 down. When I got the bike, it was, let's say, optimistic. It wasn't a basket case, but it definitely lived a life. The good news was that once I cleaned the carburetor and got it running, the engine actually sounded healthy. No nasty rattles, no obvious bottom end drama. This was a big moment because it meant this wasn't going to be a purely sentimental rescue, but could genuinely become a good road bike again. But cosmetically, it had suffered. The indicators were mostly broken. There was silver overspray paint absolutely everywhere, and not subtle overspraying either. And a lot of the white paint on the frame had clearly been applied by a brush over some repairs. The swinging arm had also been painted by hand, and not carefully, just painted. There was overspray in the headstock, on the handlebars. The neutral light wasn't working. The electrics had been modified, and not in a good way. The seat cover was burnt, and it looked like someone had taken a bite out of it, and there were covers which did not have the fittings to fit on correctly. The tank looked reasonable from the outside, but inside it was badly rusted. Bad enough that we had to look for a replacement tank. The fork seals were leaking and the stanchions were pitted and needed replacing. The exhaust was heavily rusted and had clearly been welded more than once over the years. Even the mirror plastics and the screen had been scratched, and they looked very tired. So that's the starting point. Not terrible, but not loved. So while I'm rebuilding this 1987 Yamaha TZR125, it's probably worth stepping back into what motorcycling was looking like in Ireland in 1987. I'm not completely sure what I was riding that year. I think it was a Yamaha 2-stroke, which is unusual because I generally owned 4-strokes. But around that time I did race a YZR125 in places like Red Bog and Wicklow, an absolutely brilliant motocross track, and a few other places that I've forgotten. I wasn't very good, so we won't dwell on that. Although I did manage 3rd place at a grass track event, which I'm still claiming. 1987 was a big year for road racing and Irish road racing. At the 80th anniversary of the Isle of Man TT, Eddie Laycock took a brilliant junior TT win. Joey Dunlop won the Formula 1 race on a Rotman's Honda. Steve Hislop took the first ever TT victory in Formula 2. And at the Ulster Grand Prix, Robert Dunlop was named man of the meeting, winning 125, 350 and 1000cc races. That was the atmosphere Irish riders were growing up in. Road racing wasn't distant, it was local heroes doing extraordinary things. And in 1987, another rider was born who'd go on to define a generation. Jonathan Ray was born on February the 2nd in that year, 1987. Globally, 1987 was a serious year for performance bikes. Honda launched its CBR 600F Hurricane, a bike that really set the template for modern 600 sports bikes. They also released the legendary VFR 750R RC30, a proper homologation special built to win championships. Yamaha introduced the FZR 1000 and the FZR 750 with the Genesis 5-valve engine pushing high revving inline 4 performance forward. Kawasaki launched the GPZ 500S, which would become one of the most recognisable middleweights of the era. And over in Italy, Ducati released the 851, the beginning of their modern superbike era. Meanwhile, in Grand Prix racing, Wayne Gardner became 500cc world champion, the first Australian to do so. So performance was escalating everywhere. The TZR125 sat right in the middle of this escalation. Liquid cooled, power valve, race replica styling. In Ireland, because of the learning restrictions at the time, bikes like this weren't just entry level, they were aspirational. A 125 2-stroke wasn't a stepping stone for many riders, it was the bike. And they were ridden hard, modified, tuned, sometimes badly wired, badly painted, sometimes brush painted, like the one we have here. That brings us neatly back to this one. So here it is, the finished Yamaha TZR125. And I have to say, I'm generally very happy at how this has turned out. Proud of it actually. Because when you think back to where it started, The brush painted swinging arm, the overspray everywhere, the rusted tank, the leaking forks. It's hard to believe it's the same bike. This one is heading back to its owner Jack. And as always, it's a slightly strange moment. You spend so long bringing something back to life and then it goes home. But that's the whole point. This wasn't a one-stop rebuild. Parts came from places like Yambits, eBay, M&P Direct, the Visor Shop, AliExpress, Amazon, and a special mention to Martin at paintbike.com for the paintwork that really lifts the whole thing. Because with bikes like this, it's the small details that make the difference. The correct shape indicators, the proper grey in the engine casings, the grab rail, which wasn't easy to find, a full new exhaust system instead of the one that was welded together and ready to fall apart. It's those things that stop making it look like a tidy project but make it look right. So let me know what you think. If you'd like to know more about repairing or restoring one of these and how and why, the mistakes to avoid, there are already videos up on this bike and there are more to come. And if there's something specific you'd like me to cover, let me know. At the moment, I'm slightly going stir crazy because the weather for motorcycling in Ireland has been absolutely terrible. And I just want a dry day to get properly back out on the road. But that day will come. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Please like, comment, share, subscribe. Thank you.